He said he was coaching a soccer team on weekends. I drove to the field and found kids playing. But he wasn't there. I sent him a video of the empty sidelines and wrote, "No coach. Just benched." We were married for 9 years. Lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. Quiet neighborhood. Nice neighbors. Decent life. I work as a dental hygienist. Jason worked at an auto parts warehouse, managing a crew of about 12 guys. We didn't have kids, though I wanted them. He acted like he did too, for a while. Then came the fertility talks, then the tests, then the fights. Eventually, we just stopped bringing it up. About a year ago, he told me he was going to start coaching a kids' soccer team on the weekends. Said they were short on volunteers and he wanted to help out. It surprised me, honestly. Jason didn't like kids. Never went out of his way for people. But he made it sound like something he was doing for the community, and I thought maybe this was his way of trying to change. Maybe he felt bad about the way things had gone between us. Maybe this was him trying to grow. He'd wake up early every Saturday. Shower, shave, pack a duffel bag with a couple of water bottles, an old whistle, sometimes a clipboard. He'd wear athletic pants and a windbreaker like he was about to run drills with a college team. He always left by 7:30, said practice started at 8, ended by 10:30 or 11. Then he'd come home, toss his bag in the laundry room, and act like it had been a long morning. But things didn't add up. He never came home sweaty. Not once. I don't care what age the kids are, coaching a group of them outdoors for 2 hours in the sun should make you sweat. His clothes were always clean. His hair wasn't even messed up. And he always smelled like cologne. Not just regular cologne, either. It was something new. Something expensive. I noticed it one day when I hugged him hello and got a strong whiff of it, something spicy, a little woodsy, not what he usually wore. I asked him, "How's the team doing?" "They're good. Real energetic. Lotta hustle." "What age group?" 10, 11. "Boys or girls?" "Mix." "What's the team called?" He paused just a second too long. Falcons." It sounded made up. But I didn't say anything. I was starting to feel like if I pushed too hard, I'd get an answer I couldn't unhear. Then came the Saturday I offered to go with him. "I've got this weekend off," I said, sipping my coffee. "I could come watch. I'll bring orange slices or juice boxes or something." He froze. The color drained from his face. Nah, babe. It's not a real game. It's just drills. You'd be bored. I like watching drills." "Nah, the parents don't usually come. It's not a big thing." That's when I knew. That was the moment. Because Jason? Jason loved attention. He once made me stand in the garage and record him installing a ceiling fan for 30 minutes. He was proud of everything he did, even when he barely did anything. So the fact that he didn't want me watching him coach, that was a red flag the size of a billboard. I didn't say anything more that morning. Just nodded, told him I had errands to run later, and kissed him goodbye. He left at the usual time. Bag over his shoulder. Big fake smile. 10 minutes later, I grabbed my keys and followed him. There's only one big soccer complex in town. 6 fields, all lined up in 2 rows. When I pulled in, I saw cars already in the lot. Parents unloading coolers. Kids in cleats and jerseys. I parked far from the fields and walked. Field 1 had a girls' team, clearly marked U10 on a laminated sign. Field 2 had boys maybe around 11, all wearing green jerseys. I looked for someone who matched Jason's build. His walk, his shaved head, his broad shoulders. Nothing. I walked past all 6 fields. I asked one mom casually, "Hey, do you know where Coach Jason is?" "My nephew plays here." She gave me a confused look. "Jason? Don't think we have a Jason." "You sure you're at the right park?" I tried another. Same thing. I took out my phone, filmed a slow video of the entire row of fields, then panned the camera across the sidelines. Parents sitting in fold-out chairs. Some talking, some on their phones. Coaches on the field shouting drills. But no Jason. I sent him the video, along with the message, no coach, just benched. It took him 4 hours to answer. When he came home that day, his face was pale. His hands were shaking. Where were you? I asked. I was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. He dropped his bag like it weighed 100 pounds. You followed me? I asked to come. You said no. So yeah, I checked. Where the hell were you, Jason? He stared at the floor. I'm gonna tell you the truth, he said finally. But you're not gonna like it. I waited. I've been seeing someone. On the weekends. I felt like the air got sucked out of the room. But I didn't cry. I didn't even flinch. Who? It's not serious. It's just. She's divorced. She lives in Loveland. I met her online. Does she know you're married? He hesitated. No, I stood up. Walked right past him. Said nothing. That night, I made a plan. I wasn't gonna scream or beg. I wasn't gonna cry on the floor. I was gonna destroy him. From the inside out. The next morning, he acted like nothing had happened. Like telling me he'd been cheating was just something he had to get off his chest before moving on with his day. He made coffee, asked if I wanted eggs, and even turned on the radio like it was any other Sunday. I didn't answer him. I didn't even look at him. I went into the bathroom, locked the door, and sat on the floor with my phone. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. I wasn't just going to leave him. That would have been too easy. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted him to feel exposed. Like I had been. I started digging. I knew his passwords. He reused the same 3 for everything. I got into his email. Nothing too shocking there. But then I checked his Venmo. That's where the trail got interesting. He'd been sending someone named Lee money every other week. Sometimes just $40 with a thanks for the coffee. Once, he sent $150 with a note that said, for your weekend babysitter. Babysitter? I clicked her profile. She had her full name listed. A quick Facebook search brought up her account. Profile picture was her and 2 kids, maybe 7 and 9. No sign of Jason in her photos, but she had tagged a man in a few. A guy named Brad. Looked like Brad had been out of the picture for a while. His last post was from 2022. Divorce maybe? Lee had a public photo album titled Spring Soccer 2024. I opened it. There was a photo from last week. Her 2 kids standing in front of a goal post. In the background, there he was. Jason, wearing a plain white tee and sunglasses. Arm around Lee. Smiling. So he was at soccer fields, just not coaching. Just playing daddy. I didn't tell him I knew. Not yet. Instead, I told him my work schedule had changed and I'd be getting off earlier on Fridays. He didn't ask questions, he was too busy texting under the table. The next Friday, I left work at noon. Drove straight to Loveland. I parked a block from her house and waited. I watched the driveway. At 5:42 p.m., Jason pulled in. Different car. A dark blue Nissan I'd never seen before. He got out carrying a bag of groceries and knocked on the door like he'd done it 100 times. She opened the door in leggings and a hoodie, kissed him on the cheek, and let him in. I waited another 5 minutes. Then I rang the doorbell. Jason answered. His face went gray the moment he saw me. Lee walked up behind him and said, Babe, who is? I pushed past him, walked straight into the living room. This your coach? I asked her. She froze. Excuse me, I'm his wife. Her face dropped. The color drained from her cheeks. She looked at Jason like he'd just shot her. Is this true? She whispered. Jason didn't say anything. He didn't even look at her. I turned to Lee. He told me he was coaching soccer on the weekends. That's what he called it. I guess he meant coaching you. She slapped him. Hard. And I left. But I wasn't done. I went home and started gathering everything. Tax documents, bank statements, credit card bills. We didn't have a prenup. His name was on the house, but mine was too. And guess what? I paid for most of the down payment from my late father's life insurance. I had proof. The next morning, I filed for divorce. But I didn't just file. I also filed a police report. Turns out the car Jason had been using to drive to Lee's wasn't registered to him. It was a loaner from work. He'd taken it without proper approval. They called it misuse of company property. His boss suspended him pending investigation. I also sent screen recordings of his Venmo activity and screenshots of him kissing Lee to the company's HR email. I knew the address from their Christmas party invite list. Jason had violated their employee code of conduct. Then I went online and left honest reviews on every dating app one could find where I saw his photo. I didn't lie. I just stated facts. This man is married. This man lies to women and uses them as cover stories. Be careful. I didn't stop there either. I mailed a manila envelope to Lee. Inside were the printed Venmo receipts, photos, and a handwritten letter. I'm not mad at you, but you deserve the truth. So do your kids. He moved out 2 weeks later, took a garbage bag of clothes and said he'd be figuring things out. I didn't ask where he went. Then he tried to come back. That's when I smiled for the first time in weeks. 2 weeks after he moved out, Jason texted me late at night. Can we talk? I didn't respond. The next morning, he showed up at the house. Knocked like he still lived there. I didn't open the door. I watched him through the peephole. He stood there for a few minutes, then slid a letter under the door. It was handwritten. A messy, panicked note full of apologies. Said he was scared, confused, manipulated, and lonely. Said he made a mistake and that Lee had come on strong and he just wanted attention. But then I saw the last paragraph. You don't have to go through with a divorce. We can make this work. If we go to counseling, I think we can fix it. I haven't told my boss anything yet. They're still investigating. If you drop this now, I might be able to keep my job. There it was. Not, I love you. Not, I miss you. Just keep me out of trouble. I sent him one text. You didn't lose a wife. You lost your shield. A few days later, I got a call from Lee. I didn't expect that. Is this Claire? She asked, voice shaky. Yeah, it's Lee. I just wanted to talk. Please don't hang up. I didn't. She told me everything. Jason told her he was divorced. That we had split up 2 years ago but still lived together for financial reasons. He told her I was jealous and controlling and had cheated on him first. He even said I was the one seeing someone else and that he had found comfort in her arms. She sounded like she wanted to cry. But not for him, for herself. For her kids. She said her daughter asked her last week, why is Coach Jason so sad now? He'd been short with them. Cold. Said he couldn't stay the night anymore. I just wanted something real, she said. He made me believe it was. He does that, I told her. He makes messes and calls it love. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. He told me he was getting a bonus at work next quarter and wanted to go in on a rental property with me. I sat up straight. What? Yeah. He said he had the credit. I had the cash. He found a duplex online. Said we could rent one unit and live in the other. I already sent the first deposit to the realtor he gave me. Lee, I said slowly, Jason has no bonus. He's under investigation. I sent the company the proof. He might not even have a job next week. She gasped. Then she said, oh my God. I wired him $4,500. I stayed on the phone with her for over an hour. We both cried at different points. But when we hung up, we were united in one thing. We were both used. And neither of us was done yet. I contacted the realtor she mentioned. Not a real one. Just some guy Jason used to work with years ago, apparently playing pretend. She gave me his number. I looked him up. He'd been arrested twice, for fraud and petty theft. Jason had used Lee's money to go into business with a con artist. I sent her all the proof. She went to the police the next day. Meanwhile, I got a call from Jason's job. They wanted to speak to me. I told them I had nothing more to say. I'd already handed over what I had. But the HR rep said, "There's something you should know. We're conducting a deeper investigation." Jason may have been submitting falsified expense reports for the last year. Turns out, the company card he was issued for work use had been flagged. He'd been using it for restaurants in Loveland, movie tickets, a weekend charge at a spa, and worst of all, 3 Amazon charges tied to a wish list in my name. He was using my identity to cover the charges. Now it was a criminal matter. I didn't care about the money anymore. I cared about justice. He lied to me, used me, disrespected me, put my name on his mess, and I was done being the quiet wife sitting in the shadows. Now I had Lee on my side, his company ready to fire him, a con artist about to roll on him, and a police report with his name front and center. But I wasn't going to let the system handle all of it. I had one more plan. Jason didn't know about the charges yet. He thought if he laid low, cried enough, and played the victim well enough, I'd call off the divorce. That Lee would forgive him. That maybe one of us would save him from drowning. Instead, both of us were making sure he sank. I sent him a message that Friday. Just a simple one. "You should probably check your email. And maybe call your boss." Within an hour, he called me 10 times. Left voicemails. First angry, then desperate, then full-blown begging. I didn't answer. On Monday, his company terminated him. Not just for the credit card misuse, but for lying about being married while using his spouse's name for purchases. They found inconsistencies in his reports going back months. They froze his severance and filed their own report with the police. By Wednesday, he was served with papers not just from the court for divorce, but from Lee's lawyer. She had filed civil charges to recover the money he conned out of her. She included evidence of manipulation and fraud. Lee's lawyer was smart, knew exactly how to word things. I backed her up in a written statement. Then came the cherry on top. I posted a short story on our local community board, just a few facts. No names. My husband said he was coaching kids. He was cheating instead. Lied to a single mom, took her money, and used my name to fund it. If you're wondering where he is now, he's on the bench. It went viral. People figured out who he was fast. Small town. Big mouths. Even people from his job joined in, former employees he bullied, old friends he ghosted, an ex he once dumped via text after borrowing her car. All of them had stories. All of them had receipts. Jason became a walking caution sign in Fort Collins. No job. No friends. No support. Lee got her money back. The con artist flipped on him to save his own skin and gave up every text and email between them. Jason tried to claim he was tricked, but the paper trail was clear. He knew exactly what he was doing. He pled out. Took a deal for fraud and identity misuse. No prison, but 3 years probation, mandatory restitution, and a public record that would follow him everywhere. He moved in with his brother in Greeley. I heard he tried to get a job at a car dealership, but they dropped him once his background came up. As for me, I sold the house, used some of the profit to pay off the legal fees, donated part of it to a local kids' soccer program, one that actually helps kids, one with real coaches, real families. I took a solo trip to Oregon, rented a small cabin near the coast, slept without checking my phone, ate without watching anyone's eyes for lies. For the first time in years, I felt peace. I wasn't proud of how long I ignored the signs, of how I let myself believe him, even when things didn't add up. But I made it right. I pulled myself out. I fought back. He lied. He played games. I played smarter. And I'll tell you this, every time I pass a soccer field now, I smile. Because somewhere out there, Jason's still telling people he used to coach. But now, no one's listening.